Hi there, this is Tim, and along with Kelly, we run Paragon Partners, and I'm going to go over my last 30 eBay sales. So if you've been following along, you know I'm down from a high of about 20,000 just after the summer ended. I'm up a couple of $100 from my low, but October and November tend to be low months. But things are still coming along, and I'm happy with 15,000. So this item actually sold for $64. Now I purchased it at a auction for $8. And so I was pretty happy with it. I recognized that this went between 100 to 120. I was hoping to get 80 out of it, but since I bought it for so low at $8, I was willing to let it go for 64. Now, this is something we sold for $140. This came out of a surplus sale that my partner bought. He got the lot. And this is used at DMVs to check for color blindness. Now, it didn't have the slides with it, so we realized that made it a bit less valuable. So we went ahead and took a $140 bid on it, and we're happy with it. This one I was a little disappointed by. I thought this was really cool. I bought this for $3, and this was a vintage miner spoon. I actually thought this may have been a museum piece. Now, it came in two pieces. So on the spoon part, the miner, he would go ahead and he would melt his precious metals there, such as liquid or gold. And with the pointy end, that's what he would use to pull or poke a hole into the wax mold. And after he liquefied the metal, he would pour it into the hole in the wax mold. And this thing, it was hand forged, and I'm sure it was at least 150 years old. And who knows the history behind it? I thought it was ultra cool. I don't know, maybe I didn't market it well enough. Like I said, I bought it for $3 and I only sold it for $1, so minor hit on that one. This is another one that we're just kind of happy to get rid of. This came with a surplus sale, and of course it was vintage technology. This is for doing lettering the old-fashioned way. We have a process. So we started this at 50, then lowered it to 25. And if it doesn't sell, then we lower it to 99 cents. My partner and I, we don't hold inventory over 3 months. And if it doesn't sell for 99 cents, then we give it away and get rid of it. But this sold at the 99-cent sale. Moderate bummer. We didn't get a little more, but I wasn't too surprised. This had to be out of the 70s. Now this one, I also bought at an auction. I think I paid about 10 or 11 bucks for it. And when I was at the auction, I looked these up, and I saw that they were going for decent money. So I put this on, and I started off at $99, best offer, buy it now, and it didn't move. So then we cut it in half at $49. We put it on an auction, and then it went ahead and took off. So like I said, I paid, what, 10? So I'm happy with it. You've been following me. You know, I've been talking about how I bought a lot of phones from some Russian guy, and I've been putting these in lots. These weren't tested. I wasn't sure how they work. I wasn't able to charge them up, so who knows. So $8 for the lot. So. This one we got months ago from a surplus sale, and I was just kind of happy to get rid of it at this point. I believe we took a $10 bid for this one. It was new in box, but it was a couple of years old, so it was past its prime date, but never used. So of course this one I was happy with. Some time ago, my partner and I, we bought a huge stamp lot from somebody, and we've been parting it out over time. And so my partner, he took a lot of the best stamps together, he put them in the slot, and started at 100 and ended up at 130. And also with these are very easy to get free shipping because they're so light. Been following me, I mentioned some time ago we have bought a locker that was being auctioned, and this came out of that storage locker. And both these cameras were beat up. They were missing parts. Both of them looked like they had been dropped, and parts of the corner had shattered off as a result. But they had good lenses. And plus, these are little 35mm cameras. So I just put them together in one lot, started at $10, and that's what I got for them. This one, I took a $12 best offer on. This was a table leftover from the auction. So I bought all the drebs from a table for $1. This was on it, threw it on. And You know, if I'm flipping $1 to $12, anytime I can do that, I'm happy. I wish I could do that with $10 and flip it to 120 consistently, or better, 100 to 1200 consistently. That'd be cool. I seem to only do it on the dollar items. This one I took a $10 offer on because it wasn't working. Now, one of my workers, he's in the ham radio gear, and he knows a lot about vintage gear. And so he looked this over and he looked up the history and did a really nice write-up for me. And what was kind of cool about this was if it was working, you could actually convert this into an AM transistor, or you could actually run a small AM radio station off this device from the old days. And so I had this really, really cool write-up on this, its history and its manufacture. And I think that did help move it, because otherwise it just wouldn't have been a brick without it. One of my workers, I told him if he wants to do a little picking for me, he can do that. So he bought both these vintage radios for $10. You can see I sold it for $10, so I broke out even or a little behind. But what made them valuable is, of course, they're not working, but they had the tubes in them. And even these old tube radios, you know, they can have money behind them. You can't see these too well, but these are security cable tie downs for laptops, such as when you put a laptop in the public place. And of course, you don't want somebody to walk off with it. We had a whole big lot of these from a surplus sale my partner picked up. So we just put them together in one batch. There's about over 40 of them, or no, pardon me, 20. And you can likely they all had the keys. In fact, we had more keys than cables, so that's what brought the value together. Now, this one I was a little surprised at. I did get the $10, and I was just thinking, man, it's just a stupid cap. Who knows? But one of the other channels I watch is Side Hustle Mom, where she sells clothes. And I was watching her one day, and she's doing pretty good on these hats. So I thought, what the heck? I'll go ahead and I'll throw the hat in and see how it does. And I think because it was South Park, that helped it. And because there's also new with tags, that also brought it together. But I didn't have high hopes for this. But this is something that we're able to sell. And I even know where this came from. We certainly didn't put any money into it. So I sold all these for $40. These are water heater elements. And it's actually sold through eBay's international program. Some time ago, my partner, he bought a huge lot of appliance repair parts. And we've already sold off the majority of them. We made our money back several times. So now we're just trying to sell off the remains in these big lots. So I threw them all together, put them in this one lot, and I got $40 for it. This came out of a big surplus sale as well. We had about 4 of these. These are walkie-talkie chargers. We put them together, and we've been selling them slowly each. Now, this one I got in that same auction, and I forgot what I paid for it. It was probably like $10. And usually I'm a little skeptical of cameras. I've seen old cameras like the Kodaks and the Kodak Brownies, and you know, I see them from the 40s and 50s. I think, hey, man, these are kind of cool. The complete box manuals, and they would do well. And I look at the history. They sell for between $15 to $30 each. So I'm a little skeptical on vintage cameras. But I had looked this one up, and this one had done over $100 faithfully. So I said, well, I went ahead and looked. So I put it online. First time I sold it for $112. It was some deadbeat buyer. It didn't pay, so I was thinking, oh man, I hope lightning strikes twice. So I went ahead, I put it on again, and I sold it for, you can see, $102 this time around. So I was happy with that. This is something we've had forever, so I was happy to get rid of it. We sold it for $8, and I think I bought this months ago at the swap meet for $2. So I didn't have a lot into it. I was a little bummed. The reason why I bought it is because I wanted to sell on Amazon, but then I saw it was a gated category. So, of course, we put it on eBay, and we don't get the same value. This sold for a friend. So we put this on the first time for $150, and we didn't sell it. So then I lowered it to about $50. And, man, this thing was a pain to pack because, of course, you had that rectangular item, and then you had the sound bar. And all that coming together in one package was a little difficult. But you can see we got $75 for it. This I sold for $10. This is kind of cool. You can't see it, but the panel flips up and with all these LEDs, which emit natural light help prevent seasonal affective depression. And I bought this at the thrift store at the 50% off sale. It was $4. I got it for $2, sold it for $10. So I'm still on the plus side. This camera, it came out of that storage locker that we purchased, this lens. It was a photographer there. And we did get the asking price of $17.99. It was a pro buyer. He asked a very lot of specific questions on the lens condition, fungus, things like that. And likely the lens was in good order for him. My partner, he's been going through his own storage locker. And so he had a large lot of cameras. We started putting those on. You've seen me before. You know, I typically like to get these at $5 when I buy them at the swap meet, the garage sales. One reason I have to get them on the lower side is because these are more complex. They break more frequently, so I have a higher return ratio. So usually when it's just a small camera without any other components, I'll put it up. I'll start at 25, and I do pretty well at that. Now here's the counterexample. When I have the full components to go with it, then I can sell that at 35. It's especially a lot more valuable if you have a good battery and a charger as well. Cables, not so much. USB cables, you can get those anywhere. Oh, so I bought this at the thrift store, 50% off. So I paid, I believe it was $6 by the time it was through. And these bocce ball sets, man, these are cool and they're fun to play. Except for this is really heavy to ship. So I had somebody who gave me a low ball bid of $10, and I didn't bother to respond to it. Another buyer came back 2 days later, and he gave me a $40 offer, and I took that. These auto repair manuals, I've been hit and miss on these. So I can do pretty well when I can get them sometimes on Amazon. And sometimes these manuals, especially the more rare ones, they could go for $15 to $25. But I've also seen these auto manuals on Amazon for $1.49, and you're not making any money out of the $1.49 when you sell them on Amazon. When I get these, I won't pay more than $1 each. So usually I'll buy some of these big lot of like 20 for $20 and see how they do. So these were some leftovers that I couldn't put on Amazon, or they're selling too low. I just threw them all together, and I took I believe it was a $10 bid on these. So it still came out a little money ahead. Here's another good camera. This wasn't a recorder, rather it was just a camera, but not for video. So we put this up for $30 since we had the charger with it, and we got the 30. Another camera. These old cameras still do well. So this was Olympus Megapixel, and I had the charger. It had the battery with it, but no memory card, and it had the case. We got the asking price of $20 for it. Oh, so I have to congratulate my partner on this. He bought a surplus lot, and he's able to sleuth these out in the photos. And these are battery compartment chargers. And we've been selling these for $16 each. And a whole box we've been able to sell for about 200, or between 200 and 220. And there are 4 of these boxes. So just these by itself paid for that surplus sale that my partner got. Anyway, we've been doing good on these boxes. So these printers, this was for parts not working. There was a dealership in town that was going out of business, and they're selling a bunch of their office supplies. So my partner and I went there, loaded up my truck full of a bunch of printers and coffee makers and other things. And I sold the printers that were working for good money, and that made us all back. So I'm stuck with these 3 printers, which are not working. That is, they power up, but they're reporting some sort of problem with it. And this is one of those. The first one I've actually sold. It was some deadbeat buyer. He didn't pay for it. So this guy, he came through. I still got a couple more of these, and they've been tough sellers. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw away the printer, but keep the tray. And the tray by itself can be worth $20 to $40, and just sell the trays, and it's going to take up a lot less shop room and be easier to ship as well. Anyway, that's it. You hear this at the end of every video. Please show some love, like, subscribe, and comment, and we very much appreciate it. Cheers.